Welcome back to On the Beat, everyone. There's been a lot of conversation out in the marketplace, especially in the news, when it comes to Roundup and mass tort cases. We asked you to send our legal panel a list of questions that you may have concerns of. So, of course, we decided to invite in Richard Schwartz and Associates. Let me introduce you to Richard Schwartz, the founder, and Patrick Wooten, the Chief Operating Officer and Managing Partner. How are you, my friends?
Doing great. Doing wonderful.
Okay, let's dumb this down. What does mass tort mean?
Mass tort is just basically a litigation in where a mass of people were involved or harmed by a product. In this particular one, it's Roundup, which a lot of people are exposed to. It's the #1 herbicide used in the United States and the world.
I remember growing up on a farm, back home in Australia, that we used Roundup 24/7 and was always told, you know, I remember as a kid, yes, wash your hands and things like that after using it, but our father was the one, come on kid, get out there and spray with the Roundup. Where has it gone wrong? What's happened?
Well, the World Health Organization about 3 years ago made a determination that glyphosate, which is the key ingredient in Roundup, is a possible carcinogen to humans. And scientific studies have proven that it causes non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in humans, and therefore litigation has entailed over the course of the last 3 years. There have already been 3 trials in the United States, in August of 18, in March of 19, in May of 19, and have had 3 huge verdicts ranging from $80 million to $2 billion for people who got non-Hodgkin's lymphoma through the daily use of Roundup.
All right, well, let's talk about it. The Roundup lawsuit, what's involved?
Well, one thing I want to add to that is that Roundup knew of the dangers, and all they had to do was put a warning or do some special applications and make people aware of the fact they were exposed to this product. They have a higher probability of getting non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and they decided not to warn anyone. Though they do in Europe, it was banned in Europe. In New York, they have warnings because of a lawsuit. In California, there's an existing lawsuit. But they chose not to do it because it would affect their billions of dollars in sales. So what's involved is that people using Roundup, #1, they need to be certain that they check their health and make sure they go to the doctor, make sure they don't have any symptoms of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Right.
The sad part is sometimes you don't find out till about stage 4, so it's a real difficult disease to detect.
And that's what I was going to say. How long would you have had to have been using the product before you can be acceptable to this?
Well, that's the danger of...
We don't know, do we?
We don't. That's the danger of Roundup, because it can be inhaled when you're spraying it. It can be absorbed through your skin when you are using it. It's actually been found in food sources across the United States now, that there are all sorts of studies that it's in the food system, so there's contamination there from it. So you just never know. There's so many different avenues for which you can get Roundup into your bloodstream, which in turn can cause non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a horrible disease, as Richard indicated.
Yeah, Richard, let's talk a little bit about where we are now with the lawsuit.
Well, right now there is a court-ordered settlement negotiations going on right now. There have been 3 or 4 huge verdicts already. There's more trials pending. I think they're really getting serious about trying to resolve the claims. I can't guarantee they will get resolved. But the reality is, the reason these shows are so important, there are people who have non-Hodgkin's lymphoma right now who use Roundup and don't understand where they got the disease from, and the fact they're entitled to compensation for their injury. And that's why this show is so important.
Okay, what's the future?
Future, as Richard said, there are 2 trials coming up. There's one in St. Louis County, Missouri in August, and followed 3 weeks later by another one in St. Louis, Missouri. There are over 15,000 lawsuits pending in the United States. Canada actually has thousands of lawsuits pending as well right now. That litigation has just recently come up to speed up north of the border. So you have thousands upon thousands. We continue to get calls on a daily basis from people who unfortunately have been diagnosed and believe it is attributable to the use of Roundup and the lack of warnings that were on it.
Well, great information. We can go on forever, but we are out of time. If you want to find out more information, there it all is up on the screen for you. Richard Schwartz and Associates. Give them a call if you have any concerns. They will walk you through the process. Back after this short break, everyone.